because we're having a good time. Hi, everybody. Welcome to my monthly
Hello.
Patreon hangout.
Hi.
Hi.
It's a full house this month. This is great.
It's a very full house.
Yeah.
Yay.
And Matthew is joining us from his house instead of his car for the first time in a while. Thank you.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
It's good to see.
It's nice to be in front of a real microphone this time.
I can imagine for an audiophile such as yourself.
Yes.
Matt,
I'm going to be leaving right after the broadcast ends for the first time in forever because I'm going to Seattle Pride right after this.
Oh, awesome!
Wearing my Love is Love shirt.
That is awesome. So you're not going to study Latin.
No, I'm just going to go to Seattle Pride and possibly come up with Latin translations for slogans because I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I'll just be going to bed once it's all over.
that whole globe thing where it's different time zones.
It confuses
Time
people.
zones.
It's 2 a.m. here, so
It's like, can't we all just agree on one time for the entire world? Not everybody needs to see the sun. Come on.
yeah.
Yes, it's Miller time.
Yes, exactly. Right?
The sun is overrated.
2 a.m. is that late?
It's later than I should technically be up, but it's I'm
I'm
usually
a
up at
ridiculous
2 a.m.
night
anyway,
owl, so
yeah, same here.
Yeah. I've been staying up late recently too.
in fact, this is ridiculously early for me to be awake.
What time are you up?
Honestly, I don't wake up this early on, but I saw the notification yesterday for this hangout, so it's like, if it weren't for like this hangout, I would just go back to sleep.
Well, that's cool. Maybe after it's over, you can just go right back to sleep.
No, I'm going to a meadery after this.
Oh, okay.
It's still Sunday where everyone else is. It's technically the early hours of Monday morning here.
Mm-hmm.
That international date line will get you.
It will. Every time.
Every single time.
Yeah. So, I picked up a little bit of the conversation before I came in, and you were having a very spirited conversation about Latin and other languages, and I've talked about these things we use to speak to one another, and I think I've mentioned this before that I am a monoglot, but it's not for lack of trying. I've taken classes throughout my life for 3 different non-English languages. The first being Latin that I took 3 years of in high school that I remember like almost nothing about.
Same here. I did 6 years and I remember almost nothing of it.
So I don't feel so bad.
It is pretty tough.
No, it can be. It can be.
I don't even know how I passed the classes.
I keep my textbook. I kept my textbook right next to me. I'm insane. But you can understand Latin and I can't. So well, I can understand it with a little help from the lexicon, but I can understand quite a bit of it, I guess.
I mean, I can understand certain bits of it.
I'm satisfied to go with translations rather than trying to read the original. So
they're going to invent a universal translator or discover a Babel fish or something in the next few years anyway. So it won't matter.
Personally, I take the view of Thomas Paine. Fuck dead languages. We could be studying science.
An exact quote.
Reason. Well, I'm translating here. What he essentially said.
Paine was awfully.
I've got a friend who studies Latin, and he's going to be going to Florence, so he's going to be applying it to various old other city buildings around the world. Yeah, I don't see the practical application otherwise in the United States for Latin, to be honest.
Yeah, there's not a lot of practical
I'm using it as a basis for
conlangs.
conlangs. I'm using it as a basis for conlangs, so.
Well, and if you found a university and you want to give it a motto, you know what to say, or if you want to, if you're a writer and you want to come up with a really pretentious sounding title for a story.
I am a writer, but I'm not going to be pretentious about it. I'm using it to construct my conlangs because I'm a fantasy author who takes like 10 pages out of Tolkien's book because, of course. So I promise there are no elves in my book.
But do you take a full chapter to describe the trees? That's always my problem with Tolkien.
I don't take a full chapter to describe the trees, but there is an inordinate amount of journeying from place to place.
So a fantasy book all about walking.
It's not all about walking. There's a lot of horseback riding, and there's a lot of stargazing, and there's a lot of weird scientific experimentation with magic.
Stargazing, the perfect fancy book for Jack Howard Kaiser. Greeting, fellow stargazers.
What?
Steve knows what I'm talking about. It's something on PBS.
Oh, okay.
I do, yes.
I don't watch a lot of
absolutely.
TV, so...
I don't anymore.
Well, again, that puts you ahead of me because that's virtually all I do. I watch TV and then I make YouTube videos. And look at me now.
To be fair, you have a quite interesting career that I would kind of love to have.
Well,
the difference is Steve has something to say and I have nothing to say like that.
Oh, but you have such a cool microphone to say it into.
Yeah.
So I say other people's words. That's what I
It's
do.
a really good microphone.
It is a cool microphone.
I've had exactly one idea for a video. It's to be about Davis Aureni, but I've got nothing else that I really want to say in video form, I don't think. So
I haven't made a video in ages. I used to do a bunch of little Let's Plays and stuff. Like the last one I did was before the election. I did Mr. President, which if you've... The silly physics game where you have to deflect bullets away from Ronald Rump. I wonder if there have been updates since the election. But now I want to do recently I got back into Crusader Kings 2 and I kind of want to make a game with the ruler designer and make Donald Trump in Crusader Kings 2 and see how long it takes for someone to assassinate him. Because he will get assassinated, because like he would have like all of the bad traits and someone would want to get him dead.
Well,
probably someone from the FBI.
Yeah. He's really thin-skinned about that, though. If you do that, you shouldn't don't get the word out too much, because he's very even though he ran his entire presidential campaign on sending his opponent to prison, he's really sensitive about people saying mean things about him.
Isn't it kind of like illegal as well?
No, but like it would be like something where I would actually like only show the screen, and then I would try to do like the Trump voice, and he would have to ask Kellyanne Conway for advice. And she would be like, Donald, you can't do that in this game. You have to keep your vassals happy.
I've never even played the game in that sense. It's hilarious. I was asked, somebody asked me in one of my Q&A videos recently, like, what are your favorite video games? And I was like, God damn it, I haven't actually played video games for like 15 years.
Wow.
Like I was looking
at impressive.
I had to thank you. I had to think. And I was like, because the last console that I owned was a PS2, and wow. I think like I gave it away. Like by the end of my gaming period, like I had a friend who was over playing games with me, and he was like, "This, you know," and I just basically said, "Look, do you want it?" And he was like, "Sure."
You didn't miss much in the next generation.
Wow.
I occasionally play solitaire. That's about the level of my gaming.
Yeah,
I've never owned a console. I'm not terribly interested in games. A friend of mine gave me Doom 2 back when I got my very first Windows 95 machine, back whenever that was. So
yeah, I still play.
That was it.
I do occasionally play, because now they have on the Internet Archive they have the full version of Wolfenstein 3D.
Oh yeah,
you can just play in your browser, and they had Doom too, but they took Doom down. I guess Doom must I don't know, id Software must have said you can have Wolfenstein, but you can't have Doom for some reason.
I guess because the recent game coming out, that makes sense.
Yeah, probably But so I'll play that sometimes, and that's like a throwback because I played that when I was 13. I
played that when I was like 8 or 7.
Normal. That was like one of the first that had everybody flipping out over what games could do to people.
Oh yeah,
no, actually, the because of the Columbine incident, id Software received death threats in the mail because of that. A guy wrote a book about that whole situation.
Yeah.
And now that they're releasing the new Wolfenstein, the Nazis are getting all nervous because
yes.
How can you make
the purpose of the game? I don't get it. Wolfenstein has been about killing Nazis for 40 years?
Yeah, exactly.
And just now they wake up. Oh my God, they're mean to the Nazis. What?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I think an outrage.
And honestly, like the idea that gaming things could like transfer outside of the game, like, okay, Crusader Kings 2 will absolutely bring out some of the worst in me because I will think things like, time to kill my sister-in-law so that my wife inherits her titles and that our children inherit her titles. But of course I would never do that in real life. It's a fucking game about medieval politics.
I mean, I got more violent over games of Monopoly than any video game I've ever played.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Because with a video game, the worst you can do is throw the controller. If you're playing a real game, like you can flip the board, you can turn the table over, throw your piece. Yeah. Fuck this! Get up and stalk away from the table.
You can force all the pieces down the other player's throat until they choke.
Yeah. Who's winning now? Huh?
Yeah.
Who's winning now, motherfucker?
Monopoly, the all-time champion of ruining friendships via gaming.
And never play with an accountant. Never play Monopoly with an accountant. They know what they're doing.
Always be the banker, because then you'll never lose.
The real question is,
banker and never have scruples.
The real question is, does anyone ever actually play Monopoly by the rules that are actually printed in the box? Because I don't think anyone ever plays according to the rules in the box.
The last time I played Monopoly, I was 7, so I don't remember.
Yeah, like there's like the house rule where it's like the taxes go in the center, and whoever lands on like free parking or whatever gets that, and that always swings the game.
Yeah, most of the reason why the game is so terrible is because the house rules keep it going way longer than it needs to go. The game was supposed to be in and out quick.
You know,
it's pretty bad even by the rules.
We always play where like we play until we're tired of playing, and then we just basically say, okay, at 10 o'clock we're going to stop, and whoever has the most money wins. But I remember when I was little, and my grandmother told me, and it's like, of course, it's a grandparent story. She said, when I was a little girl, we would play Monopoly games, and they would last all summer.
Oh my God.
And I kind of believe that, because if you play strictly by the rules, and you have, you know, like a full group of people playing, and all, you know, and you're playing until everybody is eliminated except one person, then I mean, God damn it, that's going to take a while.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like, what? Did you not have a radio in your house, Granny?
Yeah.
Was there not a movie theater in your town? Why did you play Monopoly all summer?
Well, honestly, it would be more fun to just dig around in the dirt instead of playing Monopoly, or like whatever they did back in your grandmother's day when there was no internet.
Cars, come on, something. Cars were slow back then. You could hit them.
Go TP your teacher's house.
I mean, even my mom grew up in a very small town where it now has only one stoplight. But even then, there was a lake you could go down to and skip rocks. That's what we did when we went to visit our mom back in her small hometown. We skipped rocks.
That's what they did during breaks from Monopoly. That's another reason why it took so long, because they had to step away. We can't keep playing Monopoly, guys. We have to go.
Yeah, that was what they did when they passed Go.
You landed on Go, throw a rock.
You landed on Go run around the town. It won't take long. It's a small town.
That's the house rule, is if you actually stop on Go, you can throw a rock at the player of your choice and collect the $200.
Again, house rules are making the games go longer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like when you play poker and you know, and the dealer's like, okay, here's 5 wild cards. Like, well, Jesus Christ.
I'm actually a poker player, so I know the strategies of the wild cards. You just add percentage points to, like, your possibilities, essentially.
Okay, so you're a poker player. Anya knows Latin. Who else has skills that I don't have?
I make cardboard furniture.
There's one.
Well, I can one-hand clap with one hand.
You already have one. You're a poker player.
I make something approximating to music, so.
Hey, there you go. And Matthew is a sound engineer, which is a skill I desperately wish I had, because then my videos would sound a lot better.
Hey, Steve, you're doing a much better job than most people out there on YouTube.
They've gotten better. I know my sound. Well, you know, I didn't really notice it until I started working with Neon Reel, and I realized how hard we struggled in the beginning to get decent sound, because it's like I mean, if you're especially if you're making a movie and the sound is shit, I mean, it could be the most beautiful looking movie in the world, and if you have like spongy, awful sound, it doesn't make a difference. It reads like a whole movie.
On the other hand, if you have a very bad movie and even the sound is horrible, it just adds another layer of hilarity.
Oh, yeah.
Pandemic.
Yeah, right.
That's what I was thinking too, yeah.
And the sound be so bad that it comes back around to good.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, random sound cuts where it's just white noise. And the exploding birds.
the realistic birds.
Yeah.
The birds are kamikaze pilots because they go.
It's like they took the bird effect from like a screensaver from Windows 95 or something.
From a distance, I think they look pretty realistic.
Yeah.
From a distance, maybe a mile away distance.
Exactly. If they're up in the sky,
outside the room was what the interviewer said, I think.
Yes. I think she was the editor on that film.
Oh my god. Oh. Also, the fact that you could like clearly see that the actress who plays Natalie is like totally disgusted by the actor who plays Rod. And like probably most of the budget went into the horrible sex scene because like she did not want to touch him.
I'm gonna need more money.
Yeah, the $10,000, wasn't it something like that? Pandemic.
Yeah, you can see every penny.
One of the best jokes I've heard made was on the screen. One of the best jokes that I've heard made was that the fantastical music that plays when Rod's going to work totally fits because of the ridiculous, unrealistic things that happen at his job, like the $1 million sale.
Yes. That they're just talking about, like in the like, oh yeah, no big deal.
Caught the big fish. Really? How big was the sale? $1 million.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, it's just like in the room where Johnny is apparently a banker.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
And like a brilliant but unappreciated banker. The bank saves money. They put my ideas into practice.
What a terrible thing.
I watch that movie sometimes.
I think I still think
with this world.
It's not true. I didn't hit it. I still lie. I didn't hit it. I did not.
Oh, hi, Mark. The sight of Mark calms him instantly.
I know.
Oh, it's Mark. Hey, Mark.
None of it was emoted right.
My girlfriend just falsely accused me of abusing her. Hi, Mark.
I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, how's your sex life?
He got drunk last night and he hit me. Johnny doesn't drink.
I love how there's not a single character in the movie that reacts with anything resembling concern for Lisa when she says,
I got the results of the test back. I definitely have cancer.
It's not all about you, Mom. Or she says, oh, they're curing people every day. Okay.
Oh, God.
Sorry, I mentioned my cancer. Didn't mean to.
That fucking movie.
Yeah, I know. I watched the entire reboot of Mystery Science Theater on Netflix.
Yeah.
And there was even a couple of there's one or two of those movies I could not get through in one sitting, even with the jokes. Like, especially the Christmas movie they did. I'm like, that was bad for even a Christmas movie.
Wow.
What one was that?
What's that?
What one was that?
Well, the movie they did, I think, was the Christmas that almost wasn't. It was like essentially Santa has to get a job to pay his rent or something. Like really weird premise, nonsensical, and there was a couple of scenes that are just so cringeworthy that I just couldn't. Even the cast members were sitting there going, "Oh."
Wow.
See, Santa being broke and have to get a job, that sounds like a 5-minute skit or something like that, or a one-off joke.
There are some movies that there are some movies that, like, the only reason to watch them is the riff tracks or the MST3K.
Oh yeah,
like the Twilight movies. I watched those purely for the riff tracks.
That's still the only
best moment of which is in the last movie when Michael Sheen, in a brilliant moment of just not giving a fuck, does this weird fucking laugh like, ha ha, and they say, well, there's no comment that could make that funny.
I actually tried reading Twilight, and I got about halfway
I actually managed to force myself through the whole book, and it was awful.
No.
Yeah.
I just got halfway through and I thought,
oh man, I didn't
put this down and read something else, and I just never went back to it. So
I went and counted the said bookisms. I counted the ridiculous words she uses to avoid the word said. She really likes to have her characters whisper.
What was the word you said to describe the words? What was the term you just called?
Wow. It's editorial speak for weird things that people do to avoid the word said. But like, let's see, like the Twilight bookism / unnecessary adverb tally. Let's see. Whispered was the top. Muttered, murmured, admitted, stuff like that. It's ridiculous. And she uses agreed a lot to have like the characters restate something that another character just said. It's horrible. The writing is atrocious. Also, the dashes, the M dashes. Oh my god, the M dashes. So I have a pathological hatred of M dashes. So they are also very poorly used in that book.
SJW is hitting everything from European culture.
I will give credit to the Twilight movie and the book. Yes, vampires do sparkle about 0.2 seconds. The vampires do sparkle in the sun about 0.2 seconds before they explode. as the ref of my Traveler game would say, the DM of our Traveler games would say.
I mean, like, vampires don't have to die in the sunlight necessarily. Like, Dracula didn't die; he just lost his powers. But they shouldn't fucking sparkle. But, like, that's not even the worst problem with that fucking movie. Like, the problem with those vampires is that they're a Mary Sue species, and oh my gosh, there's a kitty. There's a kitty. I just failed my will save versus cat.
Kitty.
Kitty. Kitty. Kitty. Fuzzface. My cat is not in the room right now, which is a bummer because I would show her off, but you've probably already seen her because
I can show off something. I can show off my awesome T-shirt.
Dude, no.
Awesome.
Oh, sure. Okay.
I like that. That owning that shirt is probably going to be a crime in the next couple of years, but.
Man, I really enjoyed the Wonder Woman movie. Although, like, I had to turn off my mythology brain for it.
Yes.
Because, like, when I finally turned on my mythology brain after it, I kind of went Super Saiyan. I was like, okay, Ares would lose to Athena alone in the first round of combat. I mean, if we're talking about Mars, maybe he could do that, but Ares would get fucking killed. I mean, Ares loses to most of the Olympians. The only ones he could beat are, like, okay, Demeter, probably. Definitely Hestia, because Hestia is an extreme doormat. He could probably beat Aphrodite, but he would never actually attack her because he's totally smitten with her. He could beat Hera, but he would never attack her because she's his mom. I mean, the only case in which he would touch Aphrodite is if it is sexual. He might be able to beat Dionysus, maybe. Apollo and Artemis totally massacre him because they have a ranged option and he doesn't. Athena beats him because it's Athena. Zeus beats him because fucking thunderbolts. Poseidon beats him because, dude, I have the fucking trident that causes earthquakes. Hades beats him because cap of invisibility, Ares just flails wildly. They literally all kick his ass.
It's just a story, though, but yes.
I know.
So try to relax.
I'm just, Also, like, the Amazons in the original mythology were the descendants of Ares' daughter. So,
yeah.
Fun thing.
Yeah, most movies are more enjoyable if you just turn off your brain. Alien Covenant, you don't think anything about the plot. It's a much more enjoyable movie.
I have not seen Alien Covenant yet. Though at least I've heard it's at least better than Prometheus. So
I agree, it's better than Prometheus.
That's not saying much.
That is not saying much. Damn it with faint praise.
Am I the only one in the room who didn't hate Prometheus?
No, I didn't like Prometheus.
Well, I didn't hate it. I thought it was all right.
I didn't hate it, but that's because I haven't seen it. So,
okay, well, there you go.
I've seen bits of it, and it just looks horrible.
White people doing white stupid shit.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it compared to any of the earlier Alien movies, even.
Also, it does that annoying thing where it's like it decided to take the horrifying alien pregnancy to new streams by mutating her baby or whatever, and it's like, okay, pregnancy as a concept freaks me the fuck out because it's just terrifying and horrible, and I never want it to happen to me. But the fact that female characters constantly get that used against them, it just really, really rubs me the wrong way.
I remember sluts. They've had sex, so they deserve to be punished.
It's the horror movie trope. Once you have
also
sex,
a lot of the deaths were bullshit. Like where she couldn't run to the side when something was rolling at her. Like,
just go this way.
Go to the side. Go literally any other direction.
Just sidestep
behind.
She wanted to test herself. She wanted to see if she could do it.
If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have the Prometheus. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have the Prometheus School of Running Away from Things on CinemaSins.
It's an iconic cinematic technique by a great filmmaker, like when Steven Spielberg films scenes of people looking up at things.
Yeah. Or when Tom Cruise saves the world by running really fast.
Yes. Or by looking intensely at something off screen as the camera pushes in.
Yep.
Talking of Tom Cruise and Spielberg, can I just say, I can't take Spielberg seriously anymore as a filmmaker after seeing War of the Worlds. Someone gets zapped by one of the Martian death rays, and they disintegrate, but their clothes don't.
What?
Like
maybe it was on disintegrate flesh mode.
Yeah.
But then their bones.
Well, it's like the Hulk and Wolverine. Yeah. Their pants are magic.
Yeah. Well, it's the Martians. The Martians obviously wanted to save the clothes.
If they're a business suits,
Mars needs textiles.
Or they don't have the capability for textile manufacturing. They wanted to save the clothing.
Yeah.
So they want our clothing, which who knows if they will fit them.
They're making
on
dolls.
The issue
exactly.
On the issue of Tom Cruise. So I don't really know about the Dark Universe, and I have to say, seeing the advertisement for The Mummy, I also didn't realize it was a movie about the Dark Universe. My impression is that that's supposed to be a movie to set up the Mummy as a character but
horror
it
franchise.
seems, the franchise. And so why is Tom Cruise featured front and center and on the poster like it's a Tom Cruise movie?
That is a little weird.
I think it's so that Tom Cruise is the character that connects all these people in the Dark Universe. That's my guess.
2 words: star power. It's Tom Cruise, guys.
Yeah.
The rumor was he was starting to interfere with the production and take it over from the director and to give himself more time and making it more about him. So it just seems to me if you want to have the Mummy be the main character, that maybe the Mummy should be the main character.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel kind of bad for Universal in a way, and in a way I don't because they're a rich movie studio. But this is their second try at starting a shared universe with rebooted monsters, because they wanted to start it a couple years ago with the Dracula movie, and it was such a bomb.
They made a Dracula movie a couple years ago.
I think they did. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was everybody hated it and nobody went to see it, and they were like, oh, never mind, and then they
just like the Wolfman movie.
Yeah, the Wolfman, and, which the plan apparently in another 3 or 4 years is to make yet another Wolfman movie, to fold into the Dark Universe, and it's just and
that's the thing with this whole Dark Universe is that the Universal film is now going to be compared forever with ones they made in the 1930s and 1940s, which will almost certainly be better. in almost every way. So clearly, those ones are not going to be remembered fondly in 80 years' time in the way that Todd Browning's Dracula or James Whale's Frankenstein is.
Well, and I think I mentioned this, and someone asked me about this in a You Had to Ask video a couple weeks ago too. I just think it's a mistake to do it the way Marvel did it. If they want to redo the Universal movie monsters universe, then they should do it the way they did it the first time, and just make a good Dracula movie that people like and go to see, and then make a Frankenstein movie and a Wolfman movie and a Mummy movie and blah blah blah, and then just make a movie with all of them in it. Like it does, you don't have to do like
because that wasn't even the plan with the original Universal monster movies. I think it was Frankenstein meets the Wolfman was the first. 1943. They've been making them for 12 years at that point. So,
of course, every time you mix up your monster movies and put more than one in the same movie, somebody's going to make a parody set to the Monster Mash.
They did the mash. They did the Monster Mash. The Monster Mash.
Well, and any
it's a midnight smash.
Any modern monster team up movie is doomed forever to live in the shadow of the Monster Squad.
Yes, I love that
Monster
movie.
Squad. Like my favorite movie when I was a kid. I love that movie.
But one thing I would say though is with some of these movie series, you have to wonder if maybe they would do better. Some of them would do better as a TV series, especially if they're supposed to be a little bit more character driven and maybe a little bit more segmented in their story.
But then you can't make $200 million.
Yeah, and I think some movies were originally meant to be TV series that were kind of bad and stuff.
Well, I mean, I think all
they did something along the lines of Marvel too.
That one movie that Will Smith did with his kid, After Earth, it was supposed to be a TV series, but then they turned it into a movie, and it was bad.
But I mean, fine with the characters because they're so iconic. If you want to reinvent characters for the 21st century, then you need to spend time with them. Like you need time to get to know a new Dracula, as Steve was saying. And I think a Netflix format like Jessica Jones or Daredevil would actually be a better way to go to really ingrain a new mythology over maybe 10 episodes, not 13. 10 episodes.
Right. Yeah.
Which is what was H. Bomber's point in why Sherlock was a piece of garbage, and he's totally right.
Oh my god, the last season of Sherlock, holy shit.
I stopped. I didn't even watch the last one. I'm so fed up.
Go watch. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I need to grab something so that I can make a point.
Oh boy.
Ooh. But if anyone has not yet seen it, go watch H. Bomber Guy's 1-2-hour documentary.
Almost 2 hours, yes.
Okay. It was long, but it was good.
Okay,
regarding that final season of Sherlock. The only thing where you should be able to program people just by talking to them is this. And if you've read this, then you know what I'm talking about.
No crash. Unfortunately, I don't read books. I should read more books.
Oh my god, read this book. It's fucking amazing.
I will do that. I will do that. Yes, yes.
Do as you're told.
Yeah, that's on my reading list at some point. But
it's awesome.
I have several hundred books to get through that I haven't read. So
Snowcraft is one of the few books that I pretty much have nothing bad to say about.
Oh, okay.
You know, I agreed with everything that H. Bomber said in his Sherlock video, and I thought that it was really well argued and not only a really good piece of film criticism, but really funny like he usually is. But at the same time, I just don't have it in me to hate Sherlock.
Can you hate Stephen Moffat?
Sure. Oh yeah.
Then it's okay. Then you're okay.
I mean, because I freely admit that the writing of the show, particularly in the more recent series, is the weakness. You know? I mean, definitely.
Do you know what series they've just handed over to Stephen Moffat recently?
No.
From the BBC, I think it was.
I don't know. No.
What did they hand over?
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh boy.
But Sherlock, and now
well,
he did Dracula too.
Make a 120-year-old piece of work more sexist.
I saw. Yeah.
He's leaving Doctor Who though, so it's good.
that
is true.
He's gonna have a female Dracula just to piss off the Doctor Who fans even more because he never had a female Doctor Who.
Peter Capaldi. Poor Peter Capaldi. What a wasted talent.
That last season is not that bad, thanks to Bill mostly. She's amazing. And I feel
Bill's been a really interesting character.
Yeah, and I feel like he's finally having the season he deserves because he's a good Doctor.
He's a very good Doctor. He's an awesome a fun actor. I think in the early parts of the new season, he was getting really good material. But I think this series kind of lost its way a little bit in the middle there. But I think it's picking up again for the end. So
yeah, honestly, I think Peter Capaldi as the Doctor for the modern Doctors, he's second only to David Tennant in my mind.
Yeah, me too.
Lita, what were you trying to say? You're going to say or something?
I forgot. I don't know. No, I know. It's the guy who will replace Moffat in Doctor Who is the guy who did Broadchurch, which is an amazing show. So I have really, really high hopes for
also David Tennant.
And I'm really curious to know what actor will be the Doctor, because apparently Capaldi is going to go. It's his last season, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we see him start to regenerate in the beginning of the most recent episodes. So
I hope he gets to be Ginger. I mean, he keeps saying that he wants to be Ginger.
Or a person of color. Someone besides an old white guy. We've had lots of those.
Just back,
we've had so many old white guys.
Back a truck full of money up to Idris Elba's house.
Yeah.
He'd be great. But yeah, Broadchurch. Most Americans probably haven't seen it, but if you go online and can find it,
that show is so amazing. Really,
it's fantastic.
But here's a quick question,
and co-lead as well.
So here's a quick question, though. I mean, if you change it from an old white dude, I mean, do you want to risk ruining people's childhoods?
Yes.
You know that.
I was a middle school teacher. My life is all about ruining childhood.
Well, I mean, you know, I used to not care about that sort of stuff, but like when people started complaining about it, I started thinking, you know, if they like, if I ever got like, you know, a magic wish from a wishing well, and I got to do anything I want, I would totally do like a Superman movie or a Batman movie and cast a black actor to play him, just because,
just
because for that.
Why not? Why not?
So if I had money to remake a film, I would remake the Star Wars prequels and restore people's childhoods to them.
And make them not suck.
Make them all about Darth
Vader. I would do those, and I would include the movie since. See the thing that gets me about that whole ruin my childhood thing, like though on the one hand, you know, when it's the other way around and we say, hey, you know, how come there aren't enough prominent roles for women or for gay characters, people, you know, any non-whites or whatever, and they say, well, it doesn't matter, it's just about who's the best actor, and then you put a woman or a black person, all of a sudden it's,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's again, it just makes me think like, well, I hope they cast people of color and women and everything.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Did you hear? Did you hear what happened with Ghostbusters?
Yeah, I mean,
which is a pretty decent movie. I saw it.
I love that movie.
A few weeks ago, and I really liked it. Better than the original ones, even.
You just ruined my childhood.
I'm sorry.
Wonder Woman did very well though, because it was a good story.
I haven't seen it yet because I can't go to the theater. But as soon as I can see it here home, I'm going to go over it like I don't find my words.
I enjoyed it. It's okay. Yeah, you're going to see it as soon as you can.
It was worth every dollar and every minute.
I saw it twice. I thought it was so good. I saw it twice.
Well, and the thing is, it didn't drag at all. I mean, somebody warned me that, oh, they liked it, but they thought it dragged. I didn't think it dragged at all.
There wasn't much action in the middle part, but there was good, pleasant dialogue between Trevor, and Steve and Diana. And I was pleasantly surprised by that good dialogue.
Well, and I'm glad too, because to be honest with you, I don't like movies where it's just one action scene to the next action scene.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, I
kind of get the movie I'm thinking of making.
I really enjoyed the action scenes.
Yeah, I love
the action scenes. Were good.
Although, like, I gotta say, I thought that the weak power of love message at the end was very forced.
I agree with you there.
Yeah,
I know.
But a lot of the stories are archetypal, you know. So, but for me, it was more. It was a strong performance. There was great action.
Yeah,
there was development of the character, and
the action was
the first outing
awesome.
for.
For
the first outing for the series for a woman is, I think, was better than anything DC's put out so far.
Yes.
Yeah.
It didn't suck.
It was better than the entire DCEU put together.
Well, yes.
Well, also, as far as action movies in general and comic book movies specifically, and really movies in general, what I liked about it was that, and I don't want to put too many spoilers, but that it had a very mature angle to it, because it was like, okay, there's the MacGuffin, you know, the evil, we're gonna go to take care of the MacGuffin, and then when you take care of the MacGuffin, it's like, oh, that didn't solve the problem. It wasn't just one. Everything's not just wrapped up in a little tight bow. That we bomb this building, or we kill that guy, or we throw the ring into the fire, and all the problems go away. Like, well, that's not how life works.
The interesting thing about the action scenes is that actually my brother told me about an interview by the director. By the way, director Patty Jenkins, she directed the movie Monster. She had to fight tooth and nail to put scenes into the movie in the final product. And the one thing that surprised me that she had to fight to like put in the movie was one of the action scenes where we finally see her in her outfit, in her full outfit, and like where she goes across
running out of the trench and charging.
Really?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Why did they not put that in?
Because
I don't know.
Because that was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was.
It took them a century to make a Wonder Woman movie. I mean, come on.
It's the badass
I gotta
entrance.
say, drinking game, take a shot every time she deflects a bullet with her bracers. You will be dead.
I think I know why she had to fight for it. And it's kind of a funny, ironic thing. Because, okay, we all know that obviously this was a very different movie too, because obviously being directed by a woman, produced and everything. Mm-hmm. So you had a different perspective. And studios, they do one of two things. They do either the old school tropes or what's becoming the new school tropes. And the new school tropes is like, well, we want to show how sensitive we are to women, so all the women are going to be, you know, up to their neck, and it's just total other ridiculous thing. And that's not what women want either. So instead of having men,
I think they call that the Trinity effect.
Yeah, instead of what men trying to figure out what women want, a woman said, "Hey, here's some stuff that women want," and it worked.
Yeah.
A shame about this movie is that the actress that was originally thought of to play Wonder Woman was Gina Torres. Do you see who it is?
Ooh.
She plays in the TV show Firefly, Zoe.
Oh, yeah.
She's amazing. She would have been really, really, really a good Wonder Woman. But
yes, she would have. Oh my God.
she was too dark.
Yeah.
An age factor there too, I would imagine. I mean, she is. If they're going to have the series going on for the next 10 or 15 years, if they probably want to go, I'm sorry, with just a younger actor or actress in this case.
She's in her 40s. She's not dead yet.
I love her. I adore her, but I think the casting was appropriate.
So.
I don't know. I hate Gal Gadot, so.
Yeah,
I still think she did a good job as Wonder Woman.
Won't prevent me. It's not her acting that I don't like. It's her. I don't boycott movies because I don't like the actors, or I would never watch any movies because they're all pieces of shit. Sorry, but really, I don't like her.
Yeah, it's her association. She was in the Israeli military, but all Israelis are drafted. And she also has views.
I know, but
she's
very Zionist.
So that, she's a Zionist.
I can understand that. I mean, you know what, the real shame of the Wonder Woman movie being so successful though is that it's probably too late to just reshoot. It's too late to reshoot Justice League. Like, we make this Wonder Woman movie that everybody loves, and then in November we get another Zack Snyder movie. So it's like, oh Jesus.
There's some development on that.
Yeah.
The other movie that made me cry was Guardians 2.
Oh yes, that made me cry too.
No spoilers. No spoilers. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, it's really good.
It's really good. It's just really between Drax and Raccoon.
Such tender love. Such tender love.
No spoilers, John. Jesus.
Well, one thing I was kind of glad of is that, like, again, without spoilers, the character that you're thinking of, I was glad to see that character was a lot more prominent than in the past.
Oh, Drax? Yeah,
Drax.
I love him. I hope he is more prominent in this episode.
Drax is more prominent.
No, you get a lot of time with all of them.
No, yes, you do.
Well, I was talking about when Christy said about making her cry. I'm assuming she was talking about a particular thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Please, no spoilers. Sure. If you want to talk about it, I can remove my headphones. And you make me signs so I can come back.
We'll hold up a
Steve
sign.
will wave his hands in front of his face.
It's safe.
Okay, I remove so you can talk about it. Okay.
No, you don't have to.
She can't hear us. Should we wave to say it's okay and we'll not talk about Guardians of the Galaxy 2? I'm okay with that. But I'll say about Guardians of the Galaxy 2. One of my friends, he said, with someone who has father issues, watching a movie about father issues, it got to him. And he saw it twice, too. So, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it was the the last scene. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, especially since I had a similar experience right around the time the movie came out, so it hit home.
Yeah,
I cried more on the second time, just like listening to that Cat Stevens song. So it's just like I did like the Zune thing because I actually own 2 Zunes, so I got a kick out of that. I'm one of the only 5 people in the world that own a Zune, and I own 2 of them.
It is true, though, that you wouldn't see John Wayne doing a movie about father issues, and that kind of, you see that being mainstreamed. Iron Man had very similar themes. Actually, a lot of comic books, I would say. Bruce Wayne too, with the loss of his parents, and so men showing emotion. I mean, in this case, it was kind of typical in that he kind of used his emotion to fight and, conquer an enemy. But he was also, genuinely touched times, and that wasn't, he didn't try to hide it or he wasn't shamed for it. And I think that's a positive thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I noticed too, speaking of like the father issues thing, because Ashley and I have been watching Deep Space Nine back again on Netflix. And
well, that's right.
It's my favorite Star Trek show by 20 miles. I love it. And the way that Captain Sisko and Jake show affection to each other as father and son, where they're very, they hug and they kiss and they're very close. And you very rarely see that between fathers and sons in like mainstream entertainment, where they're very comfortable being affectionate with each other.
Yeah, let's tell Lito that, like,
Lito, you can come back.
Lito, you can come back.
Cat.
Hi, back.
Because a lot of times it's like if men are showing, even if they, Jay Moore did this thing about, like, maybe it wasn't Jay Moore, but one comedian did this thing about how, a lot of shows are like, if men hug, they have to do that hit hug where they like, like I'm hugging you, but I'm hitting you because, you're showing emotion.
I'm not gay,
yeah. Well, my favorite example of that, and it's like a running joke here because I love Stanley Kubrick and I love Eyes Wide Shut, which is a movie that some people hate and some people love.
I still need to see that movie.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, and there's a scene between, Tom Cruise's character meets this old friend of his, Nick Nightingale, who is like a nightclub singer now, and they keep hitting each other, but like affectionately, he'll be like, Nick Nightingale. Or something. Yeah, and they do it. They have just their first conversation. It's like 2 minutes long, and they hit each other like 10 times in the course of the conversation. Like somebody.
We're so manly, we show affection with violence.
Yeah, he like puts his arm around him and like fucking thumps him in the chest. How you been, buddy? It's like
toughens you up.
Take it easy. Yeah. That's how you know.
I really think that Matthew. Oh, I just want to say I think Matthew's running commentary should be included in the show notes because he says really funny things. As you guys were talking, you went, Tom Cruise again? Really?
Yeah.
He's a huge star, Matthew, whether you like it or not.
Hey, what about him? What about Matt? What about him in Taps?
I still haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, I'm old.
Have you seen any movies?
But if you like Tom Cruise, it's definitely it's Timothy Hutton, Tom Cruise, and Sean Penn in the Stone Age. Like a million years ago. It's real. I've seen the movie like probably 15 times. It's a really good movie.
Kitty. Sorry.
No, I said earlier that I can't get past the crazy Scientologist when I see Tom Cruise, so it's hard for me to suspend disbelief.
That is a barrier.
Earlier tonight, there was a rerun of a Graham Norton Show episode on the TV, and Tom Cruise was on that too. And I thought,
he's everywhere.
No,
get away from me!
Visions of that Oprah episode.
Say hello, Athena. Say hello.
Oh,
hello.
Hey, he was fun in Tropic Thunder.
Oh, he was great in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, he's really good in Magnolia, which is a film I don't particularly like, but
I
he is
still
actually
haven't
really
seen that
amazing in it.
movie just because there is Tom Cruise in it.
He's
really good in Magnolia, though. He's
everyone tells me that, but I just can't.
Athena says, "Why are you holding me here to listen to humans talk about Tom Cruise?"
I have the same rule about Adam Sandler. It's okay.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler is just.
He was not that bad. Like 10, 15 years ago. But now,
no Tom Cruise apologies, but plenty of Adam Sandler apologies.
No, it's not apologies. I hate the guy too, but my point is, he's gotten worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Way worse during the last 10 years, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, at least Tom Cruise, as much as he's kind of a wacky guy, at least he is a good actor and he's been in good movies. Yeah, Adam Sandler, while I thought he was a decent comedian, is a horrible actor and is in horrible movies.
Well, and
I like Little Nicky.
The thing with Sandler is that he went through a phase about 10, 15 years ago where he tried to do better movies. And nobody went to see those movies, so he just said, "Okay, I'm just going to be Adam Sandler," and that's all he's done for the last ever since. I thought I really like Punch Drunk Love.
That was the movie.
That was when he really
Sandler's in that.
Tried to go. So
and like Magnolia, written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, who was a brilliant director, brilliant filmmaker. But yeah, I mean, he's really good in that, but nobody really saw that movie, so he was like, "Okay, I tried."
Well, maybe there needs to be a P.T. Anderson exemption then, and I'll see Punch Drunk Love, and Alito can see Magnolia, and that'll be the exception to the rule. That the rated actor or actress is in a P.T. Anderson movie.
There should always be a Paul Thomas Anderson exemption.
Yeah. Talking of actors in P.T. Anderson movies, what do we make of Daniel Day-Lewis, who's retiring?
That's a big loss.
Yeah. Of course, he retired before.
I don't like him. I don't like him.
He's the Brett Favre of Hollywood.
Yeah. Yeah, when I heard this thing about him retiring, I thought,
I think I saw only one movie with him in it, and that was The Last of the Mohicans. And that's all.
I haven't seen that.
I actually saw that movie in my 8th grade social studies class. The teacher had to edit it in dual VHS ways, VCR ways. It was in order to cut out all the blood parts and stuff like that. But so I saw the bloodless version of The Last of the Mohicans, but I enjoyed that movie. I want to see the R-rated version.
It's an amazing movie, I think.
It's a really good movie.
That's one of my favorite soundtracks is that movie.
Oh,
I
the
heard
score
good
is
about the
amazing.
soundtrack too.
See, the funny thing for me and Daniel Day-Lewis is I haven't really liked too many movies he's in, but I've liked his performances in those movies.
Yes.
I've liked films that he's been in, but I haven't liked him in them. I think he's particularly bad in what was it called? There Will Be Blood and Gangs of New York.
Well, they're similar performances. But I think, I mean, I disagree with you. I think he's amazing in There Will Be Blood. I've told people for years, like, if the Best Actor Oscar was a defended title, then he would still have it. Like, I don't think I've seen a better performance by an actor since There Will Be Blood. But I mean, I understand how people might not like it, and it is very the character and the voice is very similar to Bill the Butcher and Big Gangs in New York. So you could just say, oh, he's just doing the Gangs of New York thing, you know.
I should watch more Martin Scorsese because I really love The Departed, and so I should catch up on my Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, I've seen enough Martin Scorsese, that I don't particularly like him either. I really like Martin Scorsese's fondness for other people's movies.
Yes.
On American cinema and Italian cinema are both wonderful. I don't care as much about his films as such, so I could happily just let him, make film documentaries for whatever's left of his career. I'd be very satisfied with that.
Have him maintain a recommendations list that you just check for what to watch.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that would be fine.
He's had an interesting career. I think his career kind of parallels Spielberg's a little bit in that, if you watch, you can tell, even if you've never seen the movies before and you have no idea what you're watching going in, like you can tell, early Scorsese from late Scorsese, just like with Spielberg. It's just a different style. He's a little hungrier. He's a little more inventive, a little more, like the movies are a little bit of a quicker pace. Like, I mean, Martin Scorsese in 1975 would never have made like a 3-hour movie like he did with Wolf of Wall Street. It just, he just wouldn't have done that.
Speaking of Spielberg, Spotlight Fetish.
Yes. It's like J.J. Abrams and lens flares.
Yes.
Lens flares.
That's still my biggest disappointment of his Star Wars movie, which overall I really enjoyed. Because again, just to piss off the super fans, I would have had nothing but lens flares in it. I would have had a lens flare every time somebody popped a lightsaber. There would have been a lens flare. and then J.J. Abrams would have leaned in from the side of the frame and been like,
I mean, other than that, I think some of the camera angles are spectacular in some of the new ones. I think probably my favorite sequence they did was in Force Awakens when they did like a ground scene panned up into the fighter, like aerial fighter scene, then came straight back down to the ground scene.
Yeah.
And I think what they did, and that's one thing I love about Star Wars movies is they have nice long cuts to their action sequences. It's like I get dizzy with some of like Michael Bay movies where it's like bam, 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 bam.
And that was one of the biggest problems. There's many problems with it, but one of the things, I didn't hate the prequels as much as everybody else did. I think they were disappointing, but I didn't completely hate them.
Same. I think.
But the Attack of the Clones in the end battle, instead of doing those long cuts like you're talking about, it's and I was getting like motion sick, and I don't get motion sickness ever, and I was just like, oh my god, I can't keep up with anything.
Yeah,
that seems to be a pretty common complaint with action scenes in films these days. They're just so edited, and it's really hard to keep track of what's actually going on.
Exactly.
Fighting whom, where the action's going. So
if you can't create a sense of space and know where everybody is in relation to everybody else, it's hard to get invested in what you're seeing. That was actually that was one of my problems, and it's one of the reasons why I'm not as big of a fan of Batman Begins as a lot of my fellow Batman fans, because I feel like the way those action scenes were shot, the camera was so close, and clearly it was done intentionally. He was doing, he didn't just make a mistake, but I couldn't. It's like, what, I don't even know what's going on. I don't care about any of this. And he corrected that. The action scenes in The Dark Knight were much better staged and better shot. And I really got into that. So
I think it all depends on like the director and how they like frame the shots. Like I remember from watching Lisa Edelson's videos on like the Transformer movies. The reason why those are so confusing, so jarring, is because the focal point is in different places. So you're shifting your focal point to different places along the screen. Unlike say Mad Max Fury Road, the director makes sure that the focal point for the action was like in the center of the screen. So for the editor can just like cut it so that that we can still follow the action, even though there was a bunch of cuts in some of those action scenes. And by the way, Mad Max Fury Road should end any movie marathon. Doesn't matter what the movie marathon is. With Mad Max Fury Road.
That's a very, very good movie.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mad Max Fury Road is amazing and wonderful, and I love it so much.
I was surprised by how good it was. I thought, okay, it's 2015. We don't really need post-apocalyptic films like this anymore, do we? And I thought, no, we do. We needed this one at least.
Not only that, but another Mad Max movie after like 30 years. Like, why are we making another Mad Max movie? Oh, this is why.
No one asked for another Mad Max movie, but the director wanted to go off on a swan song, and boy, did he go off on a swan song. It's a movie with a flame-flowing guitar. And yet, it is awesome more than the guitar flamethrower. It has a guitar flamethrower, yet it's awesome for more ways than just that.
After I saw it, I literally I went on Facebook and posted like, I want that guy to follow me around and just play soundtracks in my life.
Yeah, I just thought it was a good excuse to have a rocking soundtrack in that movie. It made sense in the scene because there's a guitar player, but like the director's theory on that or idea on that, it's like, well, every Armada has like a drum section, so this is their version of the drum section.
Yeah. See, I was kind of mixed on that movie. I didn't hate it the way all the fanboys and again, oh, you ruined my childhood, over the top ridiculous stuff. But I was just kind of like. It was just kind of like once it got going, it was just like the nonstop action thing, and I just kind of got bored. But I didn't hate it. It was okay. It was there.
You just ruined my childhood again, Joe.
I just Furiosa.
Furiosa. As a disabled woman, I am so happy with Furiosa. It's so important. We have so few representation. She's amazing. Really, even Tom Hardy is really good. Some people complain that he's very passive and so on, but he's amazing in that movie.
Yeah. He was a controversial choice, but he's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's a terrific actor. I mean, he wasn't the person I would have picked if you're going to say like we're going to pick Mad Max and we went for Tom Hardy. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have picked him to play Bane either.
That's precisely why I think he's awesome in the role of Max. He's so different than Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
And that movie is so over the top, so exaggerated, so aesthetic. I think it was perfect. He was perfect for the role because he wasn't the one anyone would have picked, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of like that kind of thing of where it's like he's the one you don't expect. Kind of like Michael Keaton in Batman. You don't expect Michael Keaton as Batman, but I think that's the point. He's so unassuming or something like that. And another thing, I think I remember that like Charlize Theron for Furiosa and Mad Max, she originally just had her normal long blonde hair, but then it like got dirty or for some reason. So she's like, hey, for the film, let me go like skinhead and stuff like that. And the director said, sure. And I love Charlize Theron for that voice.
That rocked.
Yeah, she's excellent. I mean,
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
It's just a little weird actually watching Mad Max Fury Road now because the original Mad Max made 1979, set in a near future that we've now passed. It's never sort of explicitly said outright exactly when it's said, but it's a sort of near future, and it's like we've passed that now. So it's like 2001.
Or 1984.
But 1984. We do have Trump in the White House and Brexit, and so who knows? We may not
give it a few years.
It's more like idiocracy.
Yeah, exactly.
So what you're saying is I should try to get a motorcycle license and brush up on some of my self-defense skills.
Just in case,
start hoarding gasoline.
Yes.
Pretend it's for my fire dancing.
Exactly.
It's just fuel for my fire staff.
Well, just like Terminator 2 didn't end Judgment Day, just delayed it.
Yeah. It's called a retcon. Comic books have been doing it for decades.
Yes.
Did we say 2017? We meant 2037. Yeah, that's it.
So when did like Galactus almost ate our pun? A few years ago.
A couple years ago. Spider-Man was in high school. I don't know.
Yeah, when did Captain America fall from the ice? A few years ago, but he was in World War II. We know that for sure.
Well, see, that was what I thought was kind of a strange decision in the movie Demolition Man, which was what, 1993, that movie?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And then they were like, oh, in 2008, I think it was supposed to be. It was like so, and like, guys, it's not that far. It's only 15 years in the future. Like, it's not that far away.
In 15 years,
not distant future.
In the 15 years, we're going to use shells instead of toilet paper, and there's always going to be Taco Bell.
Yeah, at least with like Back to the Future, they were looking 30 years into the future. Right. So okay, but like 15 years, like I don't think things changed that much in 15 years.
Well, I like the Carpenter movies, New York and Los Angeles. We are past those two.
Oh yeah, Escape from New York, Escape from LA. Yeah.
No, the recent film that's had the most problem with that is a film called Snowpiercer, which is about a worldwide global catastrophe. Well, obviously it's a worldwide global catastrophe happening in 2013, and it's set about 20 years after that, and the remnants of that. But the film was made in the same year as this putative catastrophe. And it didn't actually go into wide release until the year after the putative catastrophe. So it was like dated.
This didn't happen.
It was a slight problem in that one, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at the in the Star Trek movies, I think they established that the first contact with the Vulcans is in 2063. So I mean, most of us are gonna live to that. I don't think how disappointing that would be.
I'll bring it back to, as we were talking earlier about Doctor Who, this sort of thing happens all the time. It's like we're now living in the new series, Trump is actually the president of the US, whereas you go back to one of the Patrick Troughton serials from 50 years ago, The Enemy of the World, it's actually someone completely different who's running. It's like, oh shit, we're actually living in the same time that's just much older story.
Things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah. Not quite the world that I think the BBC predicted for 50 years down the track.
One thing I was thinking though about Escape from New York. If you think about, because I was it 84?
It's supposed 81. To be like, it's 81.
If you know what living in New Jersey like I do, and knowing what New York was like in the throughout the 80s, like it wasn't actually a bad prediction given. But things turned around.
If you just wait a couple of years, Blade Runner is going to look really interesting in a couple of years' time.
Ooh, yeah.
Blade Runner, Blade Runner was talking about corporate oligarchy. Not too far off.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about my friends who were into cyberpunk back when I was like in high school. It was small and fringe back then. And I thought, oh, you guys are crazy. That's some wacky shit. Now I'm like, oh, those cyberpunk guys are kind of looking prescient now.
Except we don't have the androids. Yeah, we're living in a Phil K. Dick cyberpunk world, except without the cool technology other than our
we're working on that too.
Oh my god. So
right, we are.
When my mom and I went to see Wonder Woman, one of the trailers that came on was the one for the new Blade Runner, and it came on, and my mom turned to me and was like, "This has to be Blade Runner," and she just got so excited, and I'm like, we spent the whole trailer just geeking out. My mom, like, Blade Runner is legit her favorite movie.
Yeah. So, and I mean, it's cool to see, Harrison Ford taking his little victory laps and, like returning to his iconic characters.
Yeah. Oh my God, as Han, he was just like, I don't care.
Yeah, I still liked him as Han. I even liked him as Indiana Jones, even though I agree. No, the fourth movie sucks. The fourth Indiana Jones movie sucks.
Yeah.
Well, he's still Harrison Ford. I mean,
he's still Harrison Ford, yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's not like he ever his most iconic roles. It's not like, with the exception of Blade Runner. Blade Runner, he does some acting, but like in Star Wars and Indiana Jones, it's not like he's killing himself as an actor. He's just
he was one of those actors that just on screen.
Yeah. Actually, no, though, because he's actually a very shy guy, and so Han Solo is actually very unlike Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Indy is very shy. You have to get to know him. He'd rather just stay at the university and teach his class. He doesn't like all these treasure hunts.
I'm actually glad to see the Blade Runner thing. I was not an early adopter of Blade Runner, and I've had people try to get me into it for years, and it was really just the last couple of years that I started like, actually this is actually pretty good.
I was the same way. When the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, this is all right, and when I saw it was subsequent viewings.
I've only seen like the director's cut like once, and so I haven't seen like the theatrical version to compare to director's cut, and so I should rewatch the director's cut. Oh, another thing about Blade Runner, apparently, according to a coworker who's a huge fan of like Ridley Scott's work, Blade Runner and the Alien franchise is part of the same franchise. I don't know about that.
I could see Weyland-Yutani being one of the megacorps that is part of the Blade Runner universe.
Yeah, I think it would work. I don't think it's ever been established on screen, but I mean, it's like Ridley Scott's personal headcanon for his movies. Like,
it's probably like the mention of like replicants and like either Prometheus or something is the only thing that ties it all together. Okay, if that's true, then that means in this entire Aliens Blade Runner franchise, there's only been 3 good movies. It's ice because because remember that makes it 9 movies and now a 10th one coming out because there's also the Aliens versus Predator movies, which sucks.
Which is sad because I liked Predator and I liked Alien and Aliens.
And I like Predator 2 and Predators. I thought those were good movies, not great movies, but good movies.
I
don't know. The little bit with just the Predator and I forget her name, the human character who fought alongside of him in AVP. There's a good 15 minutes that is a spectacular little movie in that. It's just so much of the rest of it is just so dull.
Yeah, it's almost like a departure for the rest of the movie because, I think it was one of the the blockbuster, he did a little sketch. You got a friend in me, and he joked, "Oh, what? The Predator and that human's gonna become friends now?" And then you got a friend in me. He plays that little song over the clip of them running off to battle aliens, and it's like the Predator and the human become friends.
Oh God!
Play ride a friendship.
Well, see what's cool about the movie Predator also is that if Carl Weathers had been successful in his bid to be governor of Pennsylvania, it would be the only movie in history with 3 future governors in it.
Oh yeah,
Jesse the Body.
That's right. God, life comes at you fast, don't it? Who would have thought when that movie came out that 2 of those characters would be governors of states?
This is kind of a funny story. My mom showed me Alien when I was 12, and
lucky you.
She wasn't really worried about all the gore scenes because I'd handled the previous year I'd handled Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers and all the orcs getting their heads chopped off, just totally fine. No, what she was worried about was that she didn't remember whether Jonesy survived. And she knew that if something happened to the cat, I would just
You'd be scarred for life.
Yeah, but thankfully Jonesy lived. And
yes, the kill a cat moment that film critic Hall talks about in different movies.
Yes. Okay, so I am going to wrap this up. We've been going for an hour and a quarter, and it's been awesome.
I need to go bathe in sunscreen and then go to Pride.
Go.
I need to go and sleep.
Too white to live.
Yes. Hey, I'm right there. I'm right there with you. So thanks to everybody for joining me, and it was cool to have some people here who haven't been to one of the Hangouts before. Thank you, thanks all of you for being here. Thanks to all of you for being patrons and supporting my channel, and that goes for all of you watching who aren't here right now. I love and appreciate all of my patrons. If you enjoy what I do on YouTube and you want to help out, you can go to patreon.com/Steve Shives to become a patron, and being able to participate in this fun event once a month is one of the little perks you can take advantage of if you want to. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for joining me in this. This was awesome. And we'll do this again next month. So bye everybody.